What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions. I am Tyrone. That is Devin. Wait! Before we get into this new episode, please do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button right down there. It'll help you out. It'll help us out. Now, let's go into a traveled land overseas. Back in the day to Amsterdam.
You don't get here without things starting a long time ago.
Amsterdam. This is the reunion between Christian Bale and David O. Russell. And this also stars Margot Robbie, John David Washington, Anya Taylor-Joy,
Rami Malek, Austin Powers, General Zod,
Robert De Niro,
Chris Rock. Like, everybody is in this movie. When you said you wanted to watch it, I said, what did I say, Tara?
You said this looks like a collection of people here for an Oscar movie.
I said my alarms went off. I was like, I don't know about this. When you see this much star power in one movie, to me, this is an indicator that we got problems. And the movie knows it's got problems and it's trying to hide it behind star power. And once again, my spider sense was right on the money. Bam, bam. I don't even know how to describe what this movie's about, which is kind of my big issue with the movie. Because every time I think I've got it, right, I'm like, it's about three people in World War I. They met up, became good friends in Amsterdam, broke up, went back to the United States, and they're embroiled in a conspiracy. It's kind of a whodunit. Ha-ha, I figured out what the movie is. No, it's actually about the rise of Nazism in America. Oh, okay, gotcha. No, it's about racism within the military and the United States. Gotcha. No, I thought this film felt unfocused, frenetic, schizophrenic, and boring.
Bum, bum, bum. I felt a lot of that too, my friend. Of course, I'm always a sucker for the stars. I'm the person that this movie is directed towards because I'm like, ooh,
Yeah, you're probably not alone.
But I do see the problems with this film, about the pacing with this film. It's sluggish a lot of the times. The dialogue is, a lot of it is like not meaningless, but when it comes to like a whodunit that this film was portraying that it is, it's not like Scream whodunit.
No.
And it's not Knives Out to where it's putting puzzles together.
Yeah, the movie meanders just so much. Like, there's a point in the film where I was like, oh, so this movie, the theme of this film is love. I see. The theme, because they keep saying over and over, they're like, oh, love isn't something you need, it's something you want. And I'm like, gotcha, I see. But they just drop all that. And then I'm like, well, what happened to the love theme? I don't know. They just let it go. That was just something, I guess that was something real cool that David O. Russell wanted to say, and he stuck it in there. So like you said, they'll be talking and new Zoe Saldana will come in and you'll be like, oh, what's she doing in here? And you're like, oh, okay, so she's Christian Bale's like love interest or something. And then she'll just walk out of the movie and she'll be gone for like an hour. Like, this kind of frenetic, unfocused thing, for me, it made my mind kind of wander. Like I could, because like you said, it's not like Knives Out where you're following like these clues trying to figure out this mystery. Instead, our characters are kind of like just wandering around the movie for like 2 hours. The whodunit aspect is a respected general dies suddenly, and his official cause of death is just natural causes. But his daughter is suspicious. She's like, no. My father was healthy, impossible. I think he might have been poisoned. So he tasks our main characters of doing a quick emergency autopsy to figure out if he actually was poisoned. And lo and behold, he was poisoned. And the second they find out, she's killed. And now our main characters are framed for her murder. And we're trying to figure out who killed the daughter and who killed the general.
Now, who was the daughter?
Daughter was freaking Taylor Swift. They threw her right under a truck.
Now, didn't that happen swiftly?
It did. It did.
I was in the theater. I was like, as soon as that happened.
When Taylor Swift died, I was barely paying attention. I was like, I can't believe they actually got Taylor Swift in this movie. And I'm like, well, she's an okay actress. She's not so bad. And like, oh, she did.
I tell you what, though, I feel like John David Washington, man. This, as many times as Christian Bale got beat up in this film, John David Washington was whooping ass.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah.
It's like, you should know how to fight, even if you have one eye.
They kind of explain it. Christian Bale has chronic pain from his back, so now he's addicted to all these opioids and stuff like that to get rid of his pain, and so he's loopy all the time and kind of like he's always kind of hunched over, and you know he's got bizarre body language. He's kind of funny, and which made me think initially. I was like, is this a comedy? I don't think it is. I spent a lot of the movie trying to figure out what genre.
It wants to be so bad.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I think this is supposed to be a comedy. I think I'm supposed to be laughing. And then when Christian Bale's eye keeps popping out, I'm like, am I supposed to laugh? But my theater didn't really laugh, so I couldn't really figure out what the genre was. When I realized this was supposed to be a whodunit, I was like, oh, it's supposed to be some sort of a mystery. And then I'm like, how come we don't ever get back to the mystery? like how come we're talking about Margot Robbie's nerve issue? I don't understand. Let
me tell you, all that, the nerve issue to her brother, Rami Malek, to the CIA agents, all of that is like undertone.
Yeah, it's superfluous.
Yeah, this thing, and then they kept having this fixation about birds.
Birds, yeah.
The cuckoo is in the nest, and the cuckoo's about to be trapped.
Cuckoo?
Did this ever come back? Yeah, I don't know. And then if this is a whodunit, right? You're like, oh, they've been framed for a murder, so they're on the run from the police. Not really, because the police, they're like, they show up to Christian Bale's office to get pain medicine all the time, and they're like, hey, whenever you get a chance, send me the proof that you didn't commit that murder. Thanks. Whenever you get around to it. All right. See you. And you're like, what? You know? So all the momentum is just falls out. Since we're already deep into spoilers, let's go straight in. As soon as I was starting to clock out in this movie, I was like, all right, I'm never gonna understand what this movie's about. I got no clue. Suddenly the movie turns to you and it's like, Nazis, and I'm like, what? Excuse me? So it turns out that all this rigmarole, the murder, the initial murder, and then another murder to cover up the initial murder, is all because some Nazi communist guys are trying to infiltrate the United States, and they want to overthrow the government to install a Nazi sympathetic president. Now, this apparently is based on a true story, and that is freaking interesting. That's really, really interesting. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, because I'd heard about this kind of stuff. I know that Henry Ford was playing footsie with these guys at one point, and I'm like, oh, this is, some really, really powerful people out there. They even kind of hint at that. They had these like 3 guys. They're like, oh, this guy's the head of a telecommunications thing. This guy's a head of a chemist. So they think they're kind of hinting that these really powerful people like Henry Ford in real life were kind of playing footsie with these guys. And so now I'm perked up. I'm like, okay, all right. And then Robert De Niro shows up and he gives this speech about how democracy is important and we should fight against fascism. And I'm like, all right, this is kind of interesting. And then the credits roll, and I'm like, boom. Yeah, I'm like, what? I just got into this film. What? So the movie meandered around, letting Christian Bale's eyeball fall out, letting Margot Robbie trip and fall up and down some stairs, and all this craziness that none of it really matters, when really the whole movie was about Nazism slowly slipping into the United States, which is interesting. So I'm like, I can see what they're trying to do, but the execution was bizarre. And the only way I can think of why the movie was presented this way is because of what you said in the beginning, that they just really want to get these actors awards. So they made up all these crazy scenarios and body ailments for everybody to have, and twitches for everyone to have, and everyone's got a scene where they do something really bizarre and interesting. But it doesn't matter for the actual story. I feel like they just stuck that in just for the award season.
I'm thinking that they wanted to set it. They wanted to go back to this time period so they can get the set design to be nominated, to get the costumes design nominated.
It's based right at the tail end of World War I, which is really interesting, and it's got a look that's similar to what you expect for like a World War II type film, but not quite. It's got a very unique look. So like the movie is filmed very well. Like you said, the set design is really good. And if those things, like the technical awards, if they get nominated, I could see that, and I wouldn't be upset if they won. But this really is just, this meal is not for me and you. This meal is for the Academy. This movie is for the Academy. It's boring, it's meandering, I feel like completely unentertaining. And it's clear Oscar bait.
None of this stuff is to say that I feel like the actors did a bad job.
Yeah, they did fine.
These actors are a lot of them in here are Oscar nominated, Emmy nominated,
Oscar winners.
Oscar winners. It's just that this story that they tried to conjure up, they didn't know what they wanted it to be, when the best story is right there in your hand.
Yeah, it's there.
A Nazi film where they trying to infiltrate the United States government. You want to put in a who's done it or somebody's friend.
Yeah, they want to make it into a kooky comedy, and it's like, what?
But they don't do it justice. They don't do the genre of who done it justice. You know,
no.
Can't everybody be Ryan Johnson? Okay,
you're right. Yeah, you're right. They didn't do who done it justice. They didn't do the Nazi story justice. They didn't do the slapdash comedy thing justice. It's just like a mess of a film. Like I said before, don't bore me, and I was bored.
But let's go ahead and get to the rating of this thing. The only pass I'm going to be giving to this film is the actors did a good job, the set design was good, and that is it. Oh, and the costumes are very well.
Oh yeah, totally.
But I can't give it any kudos for the story. It's either too many hands was in the pot, or they just didn't know the recipe.
I think they got distracted. They had an idea. They're like, you know what? Let's make the baddest fucking stew you ever had in your life. And then someone says, you know what we could put in that stew? Some steak. I got some great steak. And so they're all messing with the steak while the fucking soup is like burning on the stove, you know? You're like, yo, we've missed the point of why we started cooking. The story is there. I can see what they're trying to do, but they missed it.
Yeah. So with that being said, I'm going to give this film a C-.
That's exactly what I was going to give it to, Tyrone. C-. It's, to me, I've said it a million times, it's the worst grade. Because that means I'm bored. I'm never going to remember this movie ever again. I just got back from the theater, and the details are already foggy and hazy about this movie. Boring, bland, unnotable, C-.
Well, do you recommend it, sir?
I do not. I say go watch literally anything else. Especially right now, we just talked about in one of our previous episodes about how good the movies have been this year. I've really enjoyed a lot of movies that have come out in 2022. Like, go out and watch one of those. Like, this is so far anyway, too good of a year for movies. Be wasting your time watching Amsterdam.
All right. Well, I gave this film a C-, and Devin gave this film a C-. So, yeah, don't worry about it, man. But hey, that is our rating and review for Amsterdam. Thank you for clicking on this video. We really do appreciate you guys. This channel has been growing. People has been communicating with us, and that's what we want. That's how we feel connected to you guys. So if you want to be connected to us, please hit that subscribe button right down there. All right. And if you did like this review, please hit that thumbs up. It really does help out the channel. Or you can hit the thumbs down, whatever you choose. It is your opinion. Just remember one thing, it's mostly wrong. See you guys in another video.